Hello, welcome to my first ever Naruto CCG deck concept video. This is a first for me, and it's going to be kind of similar to deck profiles that I have on here, kind of halfway between a deck profile and like a tier video, I guess. It's going to be unedited and just kind of freeform. But this video is just going to be about a deck that I have a concept for, and I've kind of fleshed out a little bit, but I don't think is deserving of being bought and actually used yet. Still working out the kinks, still kind of trying to figure out how it's going to run or if it's even worth it. So hopefully you will enjoy this kind of format. It's going to be pretty quick and easy. I will go through all of them like I do in normal deck profile, but obviously I don't have a lot to talk about because, you know, it's kind of a fresh concept. But they are all going to conform to the same rules, the same Untap ban list, the same Great Ninja Tournament ban list, and I'll still tell you where the applicable changes are. But otherwise, yeah, I would love to have feedback on these kind of videos and these kind of decks because, as I said, I am not done with them yet. I'm still trying to figure it out. But for this video specifically, this is an Ninetales OTK deck. The entire point is to try to get out this card here, the Nine-Tailed Fox Spirit, as fast as possible. Because its effect is that when this ninja is put into play, you can win the game automatically. Normally that's done by going through the entire chain of Naruto reinforcements, starting off with a turn 3 Naruto, bringing in I think it's Tail Beast form maybe, or Tail Beast cloak, and then up to form, and then up to 4 tails and 6 tails, and eventually up to 9 tails. And obviously that wins you the game. But the concept with this one is that you are bypassing that entirely and hopefully winning on like turn 4 if possible. So just getting right into the concept, we have the turn zeros. It's pretty standard for lightning. I run 3 Messenger Ninja. Its effect is during your mission phase, you can reveal the top 6. If there are 1 or more ninja cards with an interest cost of 1 or less and a lightning symbol, you can discard the Messenger Ninja and then put in play that card and shuffle your deck. So this is very good because it lets you bring out a turn 1 on turn 0, and the turn 1 you're going to want to bring out is one of the main cards of the deck, and another turn 1 that you have is one of the main searchers for that card in the deck. So very, very good. We want this at 3. It also facilitates getting the Messenger Ninja draw mission later. Second is Kisuke Maboroshi. When he is discarded due to the showdown, you put a ghost coin on him, and then if he's discarded again while he has a ghost coin, he's removed from the game. If he's discarded while he does not have a ghost coin, he comes back onto the field and gets the ghost coin. So he's very good at stalling because you have to kill him twice, and that's just going to be a very good way to chump block and allow you to survive into the mid and late game, because this deck is kind of a mid game with not a lot of offensive or even defensive potential. Third is I run 3 Kiba. This is Keen Nose. He lets you search the top 5 of your deck to find a mission and move it to your hand. So essentially it's a draw for 1 mission. And the missions are incredibly important in this deck, so I do run 3 of him. The fire symbol is also very important, which is doubly important for Kisuke, so having 6 fire on the turn zeros is pretty good. I run 2 Konohamaru Insatiable Aspiration. When he is injured and your opponent wins battle rewards, you can look at any one instance of them once per turn, and if there's a mission among them, you can move it or them to your hand. So once again, mission heavy, mission important, so being able to move those to your hand and save them from being battle rewarded is very good. Just at 2 because he doesn't have the fire symbol and he isn't totally reliable. He has to be injured and he's not super strong. For turn 1s, first I run 3 Naruto Uzumaki clone. This is the non-wind one, the clone effect one. It is non-unique, so you can put it into play if you have another one on the field already, so that's pretty cool. And its effect is when he's put into play, you can search for an Uzumaki in your deck. Typically, this is Naruto Uzumaki, but the main card of the deck is Kushina Uzumaki, which this can search because obviously she does have the same name. So that's very good, and it is very good for stalling because obviously you can put it into play while you have one. There aren't a lot of unique ninjas in this deck, so having non-unique is very good. It's 4-0 when injured, which is pretty good. Not as good as the other clone, but still very powerful. So then Kushina Uzumaki is the main card of the deck. I do only run 2 of it because obviously I have the 3 clones to search her, so essentially there are 5 copies in the deck. But I still do want 2 because I can use the extra Naruto clones to search for this Naruto on turn 3. But she's very important because her effect is all of your Tailed Beast ninja cards and Animal ninja cards with a printed entrance cost of 7 or more get -2 entrance cost and -1 hand cost. And this doesn't say in your hand, so it does affect the entire game, which means your 9-tailed fox spirit, which does have the tailed beast characteristic, gets -2 to its entrance cost, bringing it down to 7, which is very, very important because entrance cost of reinforcements can't be cheesed in any way. You have to meet it all the time, but lowering it does mean that you are meeting it because it's essentially stating that the written entrance cost is now 2 less. So essentially it's a turn 7 9-tailed fox spirit, so keep that in mind going forward. So she lowers it by 2, and she also gets +1/+1 when you have a Naruto, which is fine. The clone does not count as Naruto, as I will always mention for the clones. But main card of the deck, want at least 2, possibly 3, but I do have the clones to find her. Next is 2 Mabuis, also searchable by Messenger Ninja, which is pretty cool. You can pay a lightning or water or wind, unfortunately not fire, but lightning is fine, to search your deck for one of those elements and put it in your chakra area as long as it doesn't have ambush. This is very good, one, because you can filter out Messenger Ninjas, put them in your chakra after you've either used it or if you just haven't used it yet and you need them to get into discard. It lets you filter out anything you might not want to find, like if you're on turn 3 and you don't want to pick up turn 1s or 0s anymore. It lets you put in the Fourth Hokage into your chakra area, which is important later. And most importantly, it lets you put Angering the Beast into your chakra area. If you ever play a Tailed Beast deck, you'll know this is one of the most important cards for that archetype. Because its second effect is, while this mission card is in your chakra area, all of your Tailed Beast ninja cards gets -1 entrance cost. So once again, it is not limiting it to your hand, so it does affect your entire board, your entire deck, your entire play area at all. So for each one of these, your 9-tailed fox gets -1 entrance cost. So with Kushina on the field and 3 Angering the Beasts in the chakra area, this has a 5 cumulative lowered entrance cost to its entrance cost. So it will be at a 4, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, and note that the Kushina does state a printed entrance cost of 7 or more, so reducing the 9-tailed fox spirit by any amount for this Angering the Beast under 7 does not turn off Kushina, so that's very important to note. Next is 2 Bartender Cat, essentially in here for the same exact reason, except it also allows you to search for fires or pay with fires. So if you have like Kiba in your chakra, you can pay a Kiba to search for your Angering the Beast. It has a trade-off with Mabui. Obviously, Mabui can be searched and put into play by Messenger Ninja early, so that's cool. But Bartender Cat does have the fire element and can search for fire and pay with fire. So they both have a little bit of a leg up on each other. So I just run 2 of each because they are kind of interchangeable, and I don't want like 5 of the same card for this, essentially. On to turn 2s, I run 2 Shino Aburame Calculated Decision. It has Revitalize, so if it's moved to the discard, it can shuffle itself down to the bottom of the deck again. So if you pay for any of your like Mabui or can Bartender Cat? No, just Mabui. She pays with the Shino, and it goes to your bottom of the deck, and you can draw it again. This lets you draw a card if you look at your own hand and move one of your cards to the bottom of your deck. Or you can search your opponent's hand and snipe one of their cards to the bottom of the deck. And it's very important because it's a put-and-play effect. So once it's down, it's kind of done. So it and Kiba can be used to squat out to Shino and Kiba, obviously, whose effect is during your mission phase, you can discard a ninja card from your hand and then draw 2 cards and move 1 card in your hand to the bottom of your deck. So once they're used and you can put this in play on turn 3, you can essentially use this as a draw engine. There are a lot of ninjas in this deck that you only really need 1 of, so if you have extras like Messenger Ninja, very good to discard, Kisuke, Kiba, pretty much anything you can't use after that point. Lets you draw 2 cards and filter to put 1 at the bottom of your deck that you definitely don't need. So then next on turn 2 is Konohamaru Ninja Squad, limited to 1 on all of the lists. Just a very good card in general. It lets you search the top card of your deck and put it in your hand. This does not count as a draw. And other Leaf Ninjas in this Ninja's team can't be affected by the effects of your opponent's ninjas. It's very important because there are ninjas that let you negate effects on the field. So if you put Konohamaru in a team with Kushina, you can protect her from being negated by anything your opponent has on the field. Unfortunately, it doesn't stop Saburo, because that is not a ninja. It is a ninja card. So its effect being used from the hand is not preventable. But if there's a Shikamaru on the field, Zetsu, whatever, it will keep your Kushina's effect active, essentially. On to turn 3s, I run 3 Naruto Intensity. You could be saying that I'm stupid for not running the Naruto that goes into the chain of reinforcements that leads up to the Nine Tails in general. But honestly, I'm playing for the cheese. I don't want to wait until turn 9. And Six Tails itself has entrance cost of turn 8, which is not reducible because it's not Tailed Beast. It is just Tailed Beast form. So you can't reduce it in any way by Kushina or angering the beast. So you'd have to get onto turn 8 anyway just to get up to the Nine Tails. But this Naruto prevents counter missions from being played, which means that not only can you prevent your Kushina from being negated or having its effect text changed, if your Nine Tails is being put into play, your opponent can't comp strengths or dehydrate it, which they could do, chaining to its effect being put onto the chain to win the game, essentially boning you, because now you have a Nine Tails on the field, you can't put another Nine Tails down, and you can't win the game. There are workarounds to that, but you're in a horrible spot if that happens. So preventing any counter missions from being put into play is very, very good. Last for ninjas, I skip entirely over 4 and 5 and just go straight into 6, the Fourth Hokage. He can, during the exchange of Jutsu, remove himself from the game and then put himself back into play at the end of the turn. This is always the cheese option to use with the Special Kunai Jutsu, allowing you to put him into play as early as turn 0 if you have the chakra for it. Really, all he has to do is remove himself from the game after he's put in play with Special Kunai, and then he's treated as a new ninja, so when he's put back into play, he is not removed by Special Kunai's effect. So he can be put into the chakra area by Mabui or Bartender Cat, so that you can put him into play with Special Kunai. So that's just another way that you can benefit with the kind of dead Mabui and Bartender Cats once you have your Angering the Beasts in the chakra area. So on to Jutsus. I run 1 Tsuchigumo Big Bang, just important for draw, lets you draw 2 cards. I run 1 Release of Chakra, limited to 1 on the Untap list, and unlimited, or maybe 2, I think it's unlimited though, on the Great Ninja Tournaments list, which is ridiculous. Big Bang is also limited to 1 on both lists, because that is reasonable. It lets you move 3 cards to your chakra area and then draw 3 cards after that. This has been errata to be 3 for 3, and it has been errata to be in that case, which means you do need to charge those 3 cards, or else you don't get the draw effect. Then I run 3 Special Kunai. Just talked about it. You put a Fourth Hokage from your chakra area or discard into the user's team, and then at the end of the turn, you discard it, or you move it to your hand, rather. But if you use it on this Fourth Hokage, and this Fourth Hokage uses its effect on that turn, it no longer moves back to your hand at the end of the turn, so you get to keep it forever. So that's kind of just another way to stall, have a really big body on the field as early as possible, and just kind of keep yourself safe. Then I run 3 Rasengan. This one is usable by Konohamaru, so you can use this early on to kind of keep yourself safe. It gives you another option. But it also gives you 2 chakra back at the end of the turn that you've dealt 2 damage to the target. So not only does it let you replenish your chakra to use more jutsus later, you can pay for the jutsu with Angering the Beasts and not have to worry about it not being in the chakra anymore, because it just moves them right back in there. Or even if you've paid for it earlier, or it was just discarded for some other unknown reason, you can just get it back into the chakra and turn it back on with this. So usable by Naruto, Fourth Hokage, Konohamaru's, so all around very good. Lastly, I run one Fear by Genjutsu, has the fire element, and it's usable by anyone. It is usable with any amount of chakra or any color chakra, and it makes an entire team a standby ninja, essentially negating all jutsus that they were using, letting you swing through for free, preventing them from damaging you in any way. Whatever you need to do, it pushes away an entire team, which is very good. There are no genjutsu users on this entire set, so the second effect is kind of worthless, but that's not what anybody runs it for anyway. On emissions, turn ones, I run two just like Drifting Clouds. Lets you exchange all the cards in your hand with the same amount from the top of your deck and then draw a card after you have shuffled. So not only does it let you draw, it also lets you see an entirely new set of cards, which is very good when you're looking specifically for another mission in here, looking for your Kushinas, looking for your Mabuis, whatever you were looking for. And the draw is just good. It's a free draw. Two Recollections, basically the same thing except with the bottom of your deck, and it doesn't shuffle, which is kind of a disappointment because if you use this once, you can't really use the second copy again because you know exactly what you're going to get back, whereas Drifting Clouds lets you do it twice in a row and get new options every single time. So I do think that this should probably be reduced down to one, but I haven't really tested any of this, so I am just going to keep it at two. Does let you draw a card, though, and does let you exchange if you have absolutely nothing in your hand and you need to. Next is the most important mission in the entire game. It's Doppelganger. Permanent for 3 turns and target one of your ninjas, and then the effect is attach it to the target and name a ninja card. The target is considered to have the name as long as the mission is attached to them. So what you do is you can choose any ninja in your entire game. I'm just going to say Kushina because you know she's going to be out, hopefully. So you attach it to Kushina, and you give Kushina the name Naruto parentheses 6 Tails. Because that is the exact name that the Nine-Tailed Fox Spirit needs to sacrifice to put itself into play. So Nine-Tailed Fox Spirit's first effect is valid, which I always think is funny because it literally doesn't need to be valid. It's always going to be in the reinforcement deck to put itself into play. But during your mission phase, you can discard one Naruto Uzumaki parentheses 6 Tails, end parentheses, from your village, put this ninja card into play. So if you are on turn 4, and you have 3 Angering the Beast and your Kushina on the field, the Nine-Tailed Fox Spirit is going to have an entrance cost of 4. If you play your Doppelganger, choose Kushina, give it name Naruto Uzumaki 6 Tails, you now fulfill all the requirements of putting Nine-Tailed Fox Spirit into play. You can activate its effect, try to sacrifice discard the Kushina, and put this card into play and immediately win the game on turn 4. So that's basically the entire purpose of the deck, the entire point of the deck. Kind of a lot of moving parts. I mean, it's really only 3 cards kind of necessary, not even. It could just be these 2 cards, but waiting until turn 9 is the antithesis of the entire point of the deck. So the point is to try to get this out on turn 4 at the earliest. Or at the earliest. So I run 3 of these because it's unsearchable, really. I mean, you can look for it with Kiba, you can look for it with Konohamaru, and you can swap out your entire hand to try to find it, but otherwise you're just going to need to draw into it. I run 2 Messenger Ninjas. I run 3 Messenger Ninjas, so I'm going to run 2 Messenger Ninjas. One of the best draws in the entire game. If Messenger Ninja is in your discard pile, you draw 3 cards. On turn 2, that is an amazing effect, especially since it's very easy to get Messenger Ninja into your discard. Its own effect does that. And also Mabui and Bartender Cat can do that, so that's very good. Next is 3 Angering the Beast. I've already gone over that. Its first effect is entirely worthless because you don't run any tailed beasts unless you get screwed and have your your Nine-Tailed Fox Spirit comped. Then I guess you do have a tailed beast and you can try to use it with Angering the Beast, which would be hilarious, but kind of a huge waste. Mostly in here just for the tailed beast entrance cost reduction, so otherwise it's pretty much worthless. Lastly, rounding it out with 1 Warhawk, just a very good draw mission, lets you draw 4 on turn 3, so if you're really pining and scraping the bottom of the barrel for your turn 4 to kind of round everything out, hopefully you can draw into it with 4 extra cards. And then if you have just like Drifting Clouds down from last turn, maybe you can exchange all 4 of those cards and maybe 6 others in your hand for 10 new cards. I don't know. But that's all of the cards. I do run a lot of missions. I think there's 13, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 13 missions because you're trying to get through this game really fast, and obviously Angering the Beast doesn't really count as a mission. You're really just moving this to the chakra area, so it's good for hand cost. You're going to search it out, put it in there anyway. So essentially there's only 10 missions that are playable, really. The rest is mostly ninjas, and I think 8 jutsus, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 jutsus. So it's mostly ninjas and then a lot of missions. So that's most of the deck. I do have a side deck. I've already talked about the Shino and Kiba, mostly in here for the draw power. I run 1 Naruto because it is limited to 1. It's just very good. If you're into this, then you're pretty screwed already, but you need to round out your extra deck anyway just to prevent snipes. So this is in here. It can search for a leaf and put it in play if you pay enough chakra. So, you could put in your Fourth Hokage, Konohamaru Ninja Squad, Kushina, whatever you need. 3 Naruto and Fourth, just because I have the capability of going into them. 3 Sage Mode Narutos, because I can go into him. And obviously 3 Nine-Tailed Fox Spirits. You should have 2 more reinforcements because it can be 15 total, and you only have 13 in here because Naruto is limited. But there's literally nothing else in the game that you can feasibly go into with the cards in this deck. So literally any other 2 are good. As long as you have the 3 Ninetales and maybe 3 Shino and Kiba, you can really put in like 9 other whatever you want. You don't need Sage Mode. You don't need Naruto and Fourth. You don't need Naruto Hokage. So that's basically the bulk of the deck. I think it's really fun to be able to put Nine-Tailed Fox Spirit in play on turn 4 and immediately win the game. And that was the entire deck that I was entire concept I was basing the deck around. For non-Great Ninja Tournaments players, there is one other option. Gift of Pain is a card that reads, when this mission is put in play, if you have 2 or more Rinnegan and or Akatsuki ninjas, move 2 cards from the bottom of your deck to your hand. Unimportant. The second effect is that ninja cards without sacrifice get sacrificed when ninja or client. So this is important because, like Kushina and Angering the Beast, this does not specify in your hand, so it affects the entire play area. Every card in the game is affected by this. Why is that important? Because in the official Naruto rulebooks, it states that sacrifice is a mechanic that allows you to put in play reinforcement cards. So as long as that card does not have its own sacrifice, you are able to give it sacrifice and now activate that sacrifice mechanic from the reinforcement deck to put that card in play. So Gift of Pain essentially works as a doppelganger, giving Nine-Tailed Fox Spirit its own put-in-play effect. That is not sacrifice, because Nine-Tailed Fox Spirit does not have sacrifice very specifically. It has its own method of putting itself into play, but it is not a cost that needs to be played. It's just an activated effect that allows it to be put in play. So if it gains the sacrifice characteristic, I guess it's not a characteristic effect type. I don't really know what it would be called. But if it gets sacrifice one ninja or client, you can put it into play without having to discard your Naruto Six Tails. Normally that's not a big deal because it has to be turn 9 anyway. There's no way to get around that normally. But in this deck, obviously you can get the entrance cost down to 4 and still meet it. So with the Angering the Beasts and Kushina, if you run a Gift of Pain, you can get around it that way. Essentially exactly like Doppelganger, but in a more cheesy way. I don't run any in here because the Great Ninja Tournaments Discord has banned it because they didn't like it. But honestly, with Doppelganger, it's 2 turns earlier, so it doesn't really matter. If anything, I would be adding 1 or 2 of these to supplement Doppelganger as a second option. I would never drop below 3 Doppelgangers. So really, that's the entirety of the deck. That's the whole concept. I'm definitely hoping that you have some suggestions or other things that you can point out that might be able to improve this, critiques, criticisms, whatever. Because this deck is definitely not complete, and it's very malleable. There are really only 3 cards that you need for this entire deck to work. This is just the best version I thought it could be without going into testing or really trying too hard to make it actually meta. So that is everything. Leave a comment down below with comments, criticisms, critiques. Leave a like or a subscription if you want to see more of this, more deck profiles, more tier list videos, more actual concept, whatever. And if you want to see more like this, hit the bell or whatever it is at this point. And I will see you next time. Bye.